What's doing, guys? Is Big Zamp here. So this is the second part of the video. If you haven't seen the first one, be sure to go check that out here. And this one will make a lot more sense. Thanks, guys. Just dodging an ability from Spear. And then I'm going to backshot. Backshot doesn't successfully hit. And also I miss the normal arrow. Cool, great. I can see old Jimmy boy here start to run at me with purpose. So I know more than likely he's running at me because he knows that my skills are off cooldown on my Rapier, or he himself has got a skill off cooldown. So I'm just going to be very wary of this. Now, I do have some escapes up very soon, but you can see how I play right here, that I'm going to dodge to the side, and like I said, there comes out the skill. So again, I've made a huge amount of distance with the double roll. Looking back at this, I would have liked to have thought that I would be smart enough to pull out my bow and continue to dish out damage to them right here, right now. But I see a couple of skills pop up on my Rapier, sometimes doing things differently. You know, that's why I say to you, if you have the ability to record some of your PvP footage, watch your back, figure out what your biggest flaws are. Mine definitely are double rolling in open beta a lot when I shouldn't need to. It is a bit different with bow, especially if you can double roll into a back shot. You're creating a huge amount of distance. But here, I've created that distance by double rolling. For them to even get to me on time, my stamina would be up, not including the skills that I might have on my Rapier and other abilities that I might be able to use to create more distance. But right here, I personally feel like I should just pulled out my bow and then just kept poking away. But I want to be a hero, so this is what happens. Go in, Jimmy dodges off to the left, but I'm still able to readjust my ability to be able to hit the level 16 right at the end of my fletch. Now, I know I've got evade up, and I know that I can use that to my best of my ability. But right here, this situation right now is not one you want to be in versing 2 Spear users. And I mean, if you haven't played the game yet, you will learn very quickly that this is not where you want to be. Versing 2 Spear users like this, but you know, obviously pumped up on adrenaline, and I think I can take on the world. So here we go. So I'm able to dish out a fair bit of damage, but at the same time, if you look at just the numbers here, the white versus the red, well, I'm also taking a lot of damage. So instantly, I regret my decision. Luckily, they didn't have stuns. I was able to figure out that these guys weren't playing the, I guess, meta spear user combos or skill combos that would normally have, you know, 3 hard CC abilities in them. But I have seen them use leap, and I have seen them use stab, so like the running stab. And right here, I'm able to actually get one of the skills out of the spear user as well. So now I know that sweep is on cooldown for him. With that little step in and stab, not necessarily something that people might be expecting, but what might happen is, if their ability is on cooldown that they rely so heavily upon in PvP, they might just be spamming that button. So they're not necessarily worrying about where you are, where your new position is. So they're just going to spam that button, and eventually the skill will come off cooldown, or they thought they knew the skill timing. They didn't quickly glance down to their right to have a look. So he's going to use his ability, and it's a poor use of his ability. And in my favor, it's going to help us out. So I've just made that distance. I can see that I've got skills on bow off cooldown. So I go ahead and use one straight away. Catch both of them in a pretty stable position. So I'm able to hit them. I was hoping that I'd be able to get the poison arrow, but as you can see, my aim, I kind of adjusted. I wasn't sure if I was going for left or right. I started looking towards left because he's low, but then I saw right coming towards me. So right-hand side, character has gone for a leap again, prematurely used it, didn't have the range on it. So this is someone that's telling me like he hasn't got his class down pat yet. Which, in a 3v1 situation, you're hoping that there's a couple of these people, right? And he's just stabbing away. So Spear versus Rapier, he does have the range on me in terms of if he's going to hit me or I'm going to hit him. But the difference is I'm not going to move towards him to light attack. I'm actually just going to charge into a heavy attack here, which I get the stab off. I myself take a stab, so it's not all sunshine and rainbows, but pretty unavoidable. I mean, I could have used evade there, but again, in a 2v1 situation, I want to be saving that evade for a skill. I want to be saving that riposte for a skill. I want to be trying to make sure that I'm not only I'm trading my skill for skill, right? I'm not just using it just to be able to get light attacks on. So I get the heavy attack off, do a fair chunk of his HP, can see that he's a couple of hits, and we're just going to go in for the kill here. Again, keeping an eye on Jimmy to your right, knowing what he's about to do. And luckily for me, I did have my skills off cooldown. So we've actually got two options here. My stamina's full as well because I've done the roll into a heavy attack. So I've been disciplined with using my stamina. Haven't been disciplined the whole time of the fight. This would be my number one thing for myself. That's very frustrating watching back and realizing, like, you know what, I wish I played the open beta a bit more and really focus on these kind of points. In a 3v1 fight, it can be very hard to manage that. You have to be very, very disciplined and very, very good. And sometimes, especially with a bow user, we get into the habit of trying to create as much range as possible. But in saying that, sometimes you don't need a huge amount of range. Sometimes actually being up medium to close can be better with bow abilities and things like that. But luckily for me, I know that I've got rolls, a stamina for rolls. I know that I've also got evade. So it's a split second between which one actually gets used. And my character actually does something like little funky here. So I actually go for a roll into an evade. Either way, you know, I've managed to dodge his leap. Now he's got the animation. I'm able to get in here a couple of rolls to be able to create some distance. Also, attacking could have been an option as well. But as you can see, my HP is low. I know that I'm going to need to pot soon. And his HP is probably the same as well. So the thing about potting, right, I have made a comment about this in the past, is the reason why I don't like to pot unless I absolutely have to is because if I was potting throughout this fight in this 3v1, if my HP goes up and they see that and my enemy actually sees me using a HP pot, it instantly becomes a reminder to them to use a HP pot, and they'll just press that button without even looking. The thing about PvP is you want to try to catch people out. You want to try and make the fight so engaging that they're kind of forgetting what they're doing. They're not looking at their skill cooldowns. They're not looking at their pots, because it can be quite entrancing when you're trading blows and going back and forth. And we'll watch this at full speed as well at the end. So you're going to be able to see just how quickly everything happens. And we're talking split seconds here, guys, to be able to decide to do something. So I'll generally only pot when I feel I need to. As a reminder, to be able to catch, like you saw there, those two people out. Both of them didn't pot previously. I didn't pot to show them that I potted, to give them that reminder. And then they put themselves in a situation where, me also being a higher level, for instance, I was able to do get away with some lucky shots, which again, they're not expecting. Being able to manage all this, you just see red when you get attacked. You're not watching the numbers particularly. You're not looking at this stuff until you become a bit more experienced. Once you become a bit more experienced, that's when pot discipline and pot usability really comes into it. So I managed to get the kill. Right now I see a character over to my left, so I'm like, okay, guys, this is actually going to get a bit hairy. So instantly my head is, I'm thinking, Ice Gauntlet guys come back, so it's going to be technically a 4v1. And Jimmy's half HP. I don't want to give this guy the opportunity to be able to use a pot or to get some food off and get the max amount of benefit from using that food. So I'm going in, right? I'm pushing this guy hard to try to get as much damage as possible. He's playing quite defensive, managed to get the skill off me. I do have riposte, but because I rolled right at the last second, it changed my angle, which made it really hard. I do get a riposte off here, which is I'm a bit funky about, because I can hear the animation go off, but I don't get the stun. So anyway, this fight, he would have definitely been dead if that actually happened. But unfortunately, he's able just to get away. And we've got 3 guys or 4 guys coming in from the right. And of course, it's Covenant. And Unfortunately, I might classify myself as a good PvPer, but there's only so much one person can do, and fighting another team of 4 dudes that have got the jump on me when I've got a half HP isn't it. Anyway, there it is. All right, guys, I hope that you enjoyed the video. If you found it helpful, please be sure to like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments what you think about it, whether you did find it helpful, what aspects of your gameplay you feel like you might need to work on, and if I have any tips to be able to really help you hone in those PvP skills. Come launch, you guys are going to be even more prepared, because this is going to be an absolute cracker of a game, and I can't wait till we get servers that are absolutely full of people. I feel like PvP in certain circumstances is going to be such a good way to gain XP, gain mastery. I feel like if you're doing it alongside the story quest, it's going to make the game that much more enjoyable, and I honestly can't wait for you guys to really get in there and to get stuck in. I'm going to start live streaming as well. I've just got to sort out some issues with my internet at the moment. In Australia, unfortunately, we have dog shit internet, so that doesn't really help my situation. I hope you can join me for that journey, and it's going to be something the way we can grow together and be able to learn and be able to form a community around this game, but not also this game, but other FPS games and things like that I really enjoy, and just staying up to date with what the current games are. But for now, New World is that game for me and my buddies, and so we can't wait to get in this. Enjoy the rest of the clip, and I'll see you on the next one. Catch ya.